Hello, I'm going to be discussing defense mechanisms in the second video exploration. So defense mechanisms are used when we start to feel overwhelmed with anxiety, and our unconscious is in charge of us using these defense mechanisms in order to overcome that feeling, like that surge of anxiety that we get. So Sigmund Freud believed that the feelings of anxiety result from the ego's inability to resolve any conflict between the ID and the superego. So on College Psychic, Sigmund Freud, there is a chart that explains all of the defense mechanisms that we use every day in order to overcome that anxiety, and they work in all different ways. So I'm going to be going over these different defense mechanisms, and I'm going to provide an example for each of them. So the first one is going to be denial, and just remember that most of the time we aren't realizing that we're doing these things, and we don't realize it until after we do it. So that's another interesting aspect. So the first one is denial. Denial is refusing to accept real events because they are unpleasant. For example, your friend doesn't admit to having a substance abuse problem, but they can't go one day without smoking or drinking or using these substances. Displacement is transferring inappropriate urges or behaviors onto a more acceptable or less threatening target. For example, during dinner, your friend is very angry with you about a fight you had previously. They don't take the anger out on you, they end up taking it out on your server. Projection is attributing unacceptable desires to others. For example, you feel as if your boyfriend is cheating on you, therefore you decide to start cheating on him. Rationalization is justifying behaviors by substituting acceptable reasons for less acceptable real reasons. For example, you did not complete an assignment for one of your courses, you end up getting a bad grade, an F, but you tell your friend group that you got this bad grade because your professor just doesn't like you. Reaction formation is reducing anxiety by adopting beliefs contrary to your own beliefs. An example for this is you are angry with your boyfriend for coming home late multiple nights a week because he's going out and getting drinks with coworkers after his shift, but you love your boyfriend so much and you want to avoid that anxiety feeling, so you tell him that it's not really an issue and it actually sounds like a really good relaxing time. Regression is returning to coping strategies for less mature stages of development. An example would be after attempting to quit smoking, a wave of depression and anxiety clouds over you and you spend the next week sleeping in your mother's room in her home to feel comfort. Repression is suppressing painful memories and thoughts. An example would be you don't remember your brother passing away, yet you were there for the entire experience. And sublimation is redirecting unacceptable desires through socially acceptable channels. So an example for this would be your desire to hunt down and find the person who gave your best friend a deadly dose of narcotics that ended her life is channeled through a support group for people who have lost loved ones due to substance abuse. So I found this chart very, very understandable, and I can honestly relate to some of these in my life, so that's what makes it much more interesting to learn about. And College Psychic was the website that I got all this information from, so I'm very happy that this was one of our reading references for this week.